In the ancient land of Mycenae, a city rich in power and steeped in the blood of its rulers, there lived a family whose fate would be written in the darkest ink of Greek mythology. This is the story of Orestes and Electra, siblings bound by love, duty, and the unbreakable chains of vengeance. King Agamemnon, a hero of the Trojan War and ruler of Mycenae, was a man of great power but little luck. He had led the Greek armies to victory against Troy, earning glory on the battlefield, but his homecoming would not be one of triumph. His wife, Clytemnestra, had grown cold in his absence, her heart turned away from her husband. She had taken a lover, Aegisthus, and together they plotted a betrayal that would shatter the royal house. When Agamemnon returned home, weary but victorious, he was greeted not with a hero's welcome but with the cold steel of a knife. Clytemnestra and Aegisthus murdered him in cold blood, spilling the royal blood upon the marble floors of the palace. But their treachery did not end there. They knew that as long as Agamemnon's son, Orestes, lived, their crime could not go unpunished. Yet Orestes, the young heir to the throne, was not so easily taken. His sister, Electra, a woman of fierce loyalty and courage, could not bear to see her father's legacy destroyed. She smuggled her brother away, sending him to the distant court of their uncle, King Strophius. There, Orestes grew up alongside Strophius's son, Pylades, who became more than just a friend, a brother in all but blood. But while Orestes lived in exile, Electra remained in Mycenae, trapped in a house of murderers. Each day, she endured the presence of her father's killers, her heart burning with a desire for justice. She sent secret messages to Orestes, reminding him of his duty, of the blood that cried out for vengeance. She would not let him forget that he was the son of Agamemnon, the rightful king, and that it was his sacred duty to avenge their father. Years passed, and Orestes grew into a man, his heart heavy with the burden of his fate. He knew that to fulfill his duty, he must return to Mycenae and strike down the usurpers. But this duty came with a terrible price. To kill Aegisthus was justice, but to kill Clytemnestra, his own mother, was a sin that would stain his soul forever. Yet the call of blood and duty was stronger than the bonds of filial love. When the time came, Orestes returned to Mycenae, Pylades by his side. The two young men moved with stealth and determination, like shadows in the night. They entered the palace, where Orestes confronted his mother and her lover. With cold resolve, he struck down Aegisthus, ending the reign of the usurper. Then, with a heart torn between horror and duty, he turned to Clytemnestra. "Mother," he said, his voice breaking under the weight of his task, "you have brought this upon yourself." And with that, he fulfilled his destiny, slaying the woman who had given him life. But the gods do not take lightly to the spilling of blood, especially that of a mother. No sooner had Orestes committed the deed than the Erinyes, the Furies, ancient spirits of vengeance, descended upon him. They were relentless, driving him mad with guilt and terror, chasing him across the lands with no respite. His only comfort in this torment was Pylades, who remained steadfast by his side, a beacon of friendship in a world turned hostile. Desperate and broken, Orestes sought refuge in Athens, the city of the wise goddess Athene. It was she who took pity on the tormented young man, understanding the impossible choice he had faced. She brought his case before a divine court, where the gods themselves would decide his fate. The trial was fierce, with the Furies demanding justice for the matricide, while Athene argued for mercy. In the end, the votes were cast, and by a narrow margin, Orestes was acquitted. The goddess had given him a chance at redemption, freeing him from the torment of the Furies. In some tellings of this ancient tale, Electra finds her own peace, marrying Pylades, the loyal friend who had stood by her brother through his darkest days, but the shadow of their family's tragedy would forever linger over them, a reminder of the blood spilled and the price paid for justice. The story of Orestes and Electra is one of the most harrowing in Greek mythology, a tale of love, duty, and the heavy cost of vengeance. It is a reminder that the bonds of family, though strong, can sometimes be twisted by fate into something dark and tragic. And yet, through their suffering, Orestes and Electra also find a kind of redemption, proving that even in the darkest of times, there is a path to light.